All right, welcome back. It's another week, another Good Vibes with Debbie Cox DeNova. And what a great topic today, because the topic is making life easier. Now, I just came in from outside. It's 105 degrees. Things are just frying out there. So how do I do that?
Oh, I have so many strategies for you.
Okay.
So this is really a conversation about the law of reversed effort, or the backwards law is what it's called. And it comes from author Aldous Huxley, who basically said that the more you try with conscious will to accomplish something, the less chances you have to succeed. So for example, those of you who are cat lovers at home, if you've ever tried to get a cat to come to you, and the more that you try, the more the cat runs away, right? Then you sit down on the porch maybe and you just relax. And that very same cat comes and climbs up into your lap all on its own. Or if you're someone who has a hard time falling asleep, the more that you say, I have to go to sleep, I have to go to sleep, I have an appointment in the morning, the harder you try to grasp at sleep.
That's true.
The more awake you become, right? This is the same. We see it all throughout life. The more that you are grasping at life, the less life you actually are living, right? It's those people who are able to release and let go. It's sort of a balance, right? Because of course, action and going for things is important. But I believe that culturally, we've all been conditioned to be sort of lopsided in our approach to things, more of the yang, of the yin yang, right? The masculine side of going and doing. And what happens is if it's too lopsided, you're actually working against yourself. You're working against the flow of nature. So with this talking about bringing in the yin, the feminine, so more of the ease and the flow, those people who are most proficient, or whether we're talking about life or sports, they get into a flow state, right? They call it the zone. And it's that effortless action. It's that doing, but also that releasing and flowing and letting go. And it actually feels and looks quite magical when you observe it.
And when
'cause
you're
it's
in the
balance.
zone, no one can stop you.
No one can stop you. And the thing about it is that you're really immersed. You actually become the activity, right? If you talk to people who are in the flow state, they will talk about how they lose sight of the goal, they lose sight of potential failures. All of that goes away and they become immersed in the action. And so this is really a conversation about being immersed in the action instead of gripping and grasping and trying not to experience something like we've talked about before. The more I tell you at home, do not think about a pink elephant. Like, do not, under any circumstances, think about a pink elephant. The more you try not to think about that pink elephant, the more that pink elephant dances in
So
your
in
consciousness.
other words, you put it in somebody's head, it's hard for them to get it out of their head.
Yes, it's that that grasping and gripping, and this is what we're going to talk about, is that we want to be sure that when we are going for a desire, because desires are really a normal part of being human. It's a good thing, right? We want to be sure that we're
Thanks for that.
right. But we want to be sure that our come from place is proper, because if we have a belief that in order to experience happiness and satisfaction, that we always have to be, and culturally we're being sent this message in a lot of different ways. If you just do this extra thing or buy this extra thing, then happiness will be at the end of that. And it's this hedonic treadmill that we get on, and it's never ending, right? And so to experience life as the rest of nature does, just being immersed in it and actually being satisfied and in gratitude for what is, and a full surrender, what the Taoists call wu wei. Okay, it's a state of surrender. It's a full yes to the way that things are, even as you approach a new
But
reality.
doesn't longevity or experience teach you that, like in the beginning of HTV, I'd have a meeting with a high-powered person,
Yes.
be in bed at night going, oh my God, I got to meet with so-and-so tomorrow. I don't think twice about it now.
Right. You became.
Time has dissolved that.
Yes, absolutely.
Experience.
Because, yes, experience, right. And the thing about it is, especially when you're approaching something new, what happens in the brain quite naturally is that all the risks are presented, right? This is why musicians often sing the best whenever they're not in the studio, right? Or writers write the best when they're writing for the garbage can. Performers, athletes just out there playing just for the sake of playing, they're actually performing quite well. When there are risks presented in the mind or the potential wins that are at stake, when the stakes rise, then that can become a filter to our skills. We actually can contain the same skills in both situations, right? In one area, you flop because now instead of just being immersed in the flow of things, there's an actual gripping and a grasping. So one of the strategies that you can use to help with this is to actually become a full-blown surrender using the principle of Wu Wei for all of the worst possible case scenarios. So you allow those parts of yourself that are worried to go ahead and paint the full-blown picture. If I fail, then, you know, everyone's going to hate me. They'll laugh at me. My reputation will be trash. No one will want to hire me ever again. I'll be alone and sad under the bridge with no place to live, right? So you let it go all the way to the nth degree, as ridiculous as it can be. And then you go, and then will I be able to handle that? And you imagine yourself handling. You actually imagine yourself being and surrender to that is a possibility in
You
this
see,
scenario.
Michael Jordan, when he played, always wanted the ball at the end of the game to win.
Yeah.
He's getting the ball.
Yeah.
You got to be special to always want it
Yes.
and confident.
Confident, and you to learn the art of actually being able to have that effortless action. And that's a really great example, because watching Michael Jordan, that is something that he had down, right? It was
Right.
almost like watching him fly through the air. It was like how it was action, but it was also effortless and flow.
Not only did he want it, he scored.
He scored, exactly. So his performance was uninhibited by that.
But I
that
know it's going to be my
grasping.
first question coming in the second break. I'm not going to tell you that.
Okay.
So we went to the break in the first segment. What if Michael Jordan or Joe Montana, another great example, if Dwight Clark doesn't catch that high pass that Montana throws in his first playoff game, big game, and he misses it and they lose, it puts a negative barrier in his brain.
Yeah.
If Michael Jordan misses that shot at North Carolina to win the championship, puts a negative barrier in his brain.
Yeah.
They both made it. So after that, they could do no wrong. Did that sort of build that confidence level?
Yes, if you're able to hold your failures, right, in the proper light. So, in other words, being consistently in the flow of things. And if you imagine a player who's just playing for the fun of it, right, whenever when they miss the shot or when they make a mistake, it just gets
Right.
released. They just
Just
move
another
on.
shot.
It's just another shot.
Yeah.
They move on with the game and they stay present in the moment. They don't take that failure with them and go, and project it into the future. And this is what a lot of people are doing in life, wondering why life feels so hard. And because I know what I want and I'm going after what I want, but for some reason it keeps eluding me. Well, one of the things that you need to be sure of is that you're not energetically aligned with what you don't want. Because here's what happens accidentally is that people will say, well, I know what I want and I've been shooting for it. But if you really start to unpack what they're doing, they're actually energetically aligning with the lack of what they want, right? The lack of it. And so you know this because, and this is the difference we talked about before between commitment versus attachment, right? So you can have a goal, a desire, and you can be committed, 100% committed to it. And what comes with that experience is an energetic, empowerment, excitement, creativity, alignment. All of these great, wonderful experiences that if you link back, they're manifestations of love, basically. But you can also go for a desire and find yourself in the experience of attachment versus a commitment. Okay, and there's a fine line, but it's a very energetic difference, right? And that's when you start feeling contraction and gripping and controlling and fear and worry about the outcome. Now, all of those experiences are linked back to fear. And what you'll know is that you'll know this because you'll have the energetic experience. Either you're going to be expanded and feeling good, like you're in commitment, or you're going to be contracted and worried and fear-based, and which means that you've moved into attachment. The problem with being aligned with attachment is that you're actually aligned with the lack of what you want and you don't even realize it. So you simply just need to move yourself back energetically to full-blown, like this, I'm shooting for the goal, and this is a separate time from what just happened, right? Or
But you
happened
have
before.
to have people around you who share that same process.
It helps. It really, really does
Because if they're
help.
toxic and they never think they're going to succeed,
Yeah.
your battle's bigger.
Yes. It absolutely helps. We're influencing each other all the time. We're very contagious as people. So watching who you surround yourself with, absolutely important, and making sure that you keep that balance in life of action and then relax. You know, a lot of I'm a fitness person, right? So so I connect to this example in the weight room. If you want to build muscle, you have to lift weights. You have to do the thing and like actually move against the resistance. But there's a fine line there, because if you do that too much and you don't allow yourself to rest, and if you do too much too fast, you can actually injure yourself, right? And you can actually diminish your results. So you have to balance it with the rest and recovery, and you have to move very incrementally. Move according to your nature, right? You're going to move like 5 pounds, maybe 10 up at a time, and then gradually move yourself to a stronger place. So it's about that balance.
But I find with exercise, and you'll know this to be true, if somebody's highly energetic, having a good day, or their biorhythms are clicking, it's a better workout.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And it all goes back to like that balance of life, right? And also not energetically withholding the experience that you're after, because everything we're shooting for, it's because we've associated an experience to it. Whether you're talking about a new car, a new house, a partner, kids, you've associated that with a certain experience. And what we've been taught is that in order to have that experience, we've got to change the external environment. We've got to achieve that goal first, when really that is not the most efficient way to move through life. So it's the difference between these two paradigms. The paradigm that we've been taught, which is do, have, be. If I do something, I can have something. I can finally be something, right? If I work really hard, I can have the promotion and I can become successful, right? When really we have available to us a much more efficient way, which is be, do, have. So you can give yourself the experience right now that you're after of being successful, even if you don't have the money right now. And when you actually step into energetic alignment with the experience of being successful, you automatically know what to do, and then you will have in the external environment.
Real quick, can't you set your goals too high? I never have had a day where I walked in and said, these are my goals.
Right.
You just work hard, you work forward, and you let it fall where it falls.
Yes. You may not actually frame it up as goals, right? But usually whenever you have someone who, like yourself, who is achieving something, there are outcomes that are even if they're short-term outcomes. You're like, I want to do this today, or do this for this week, or by this next month. You have a vision that you're stepping into, and those actions align to that vision. When you don't have a vision, you're sort of all over the place. So you can usually tell whether someone has that in their life.
I know some people who will crumble if they don't achieve that by Friday. And I'm like, if Friday comes around, and you assess and you go, okay, I'll do it next week.
Right. They're attached, right? Versus committed. So
that's a good subject.
Yeah.
We could have went 4 segments on that.
We definitely could.
We'll revisit it.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Deb.
You're welcome.
All right. There you have it for Good Vibes. That was such a great topic. We always have great topics. She comes up with great topics. We'll see you again next week. What's next week? You know yet?
I don't know yet.
All right. She will know next week. All right. See you later.